What's up guys, Caleb Bake01 back again for a track list ranking. For today's album that I will be ranking, we have the band A Day to Remember and their 2010 effort, What Separates Me From You. If you're still somehow unfamiliar with this series, this is where I grab an album and rank the tracks on the album from my least favourite to favourite. This is a particularly good album, so this was a hard one to do, but if you want to know my thoughts on the album as a whole, and what I rated out of 10, make sure to check out my random album review. That should be up at the same time. But as I said, A Day to Remember, they are a self-proclaimed world's heaviest pop-punk band, and there's a good example of that on this album. You know, so many of the songs are so different, but flows really well. And as I said, this was a hard tracklist ranking to do. I feel like none of the songs are really genuinely bad, so no matter what, I feel like there are songs that are going to suit everyone here, but let's get straight into it. So, as I said, 10 songs on this album, a relatively short one, but we got to get underway. Coming in at my number 10. So coming in at my number 10 is Second Sucks. I feel like this is more of an iconic song compared to, I use this loosely, a good song, because I think the song is good, but I just feel like a lot of people praise it just because it is, as I said, iconic. You know, it opens with the Mortal Kombat fight at the start, and I feel like a lot of people just remember it for that. But other than that, I feel like it doesn't deliver a lot. Where I respect this one is this is definitely the heaviest song on the album. It is screaming vocals the whole way through. There are no clean vocals in this one at all, and I respect it for that because it is still a relatively good song. I just feel like, as I said, it leans more into the iconic territory compared to being that great of a song. So, as I normally say, one song has to fall at the end of these tracklist ranking, and for me that is Second Sucks. But I'll tell you what's worse than second is last, unfortunately. But let's get into my number 9 now. Out of Time comes in at my number 9. And this one, even though it's less of an iconic song, I just feel like it delivers better lyrically and sound-wise. But to be honest, this song almost came last. I just feel like, to be honest, it is a more forgettable song compared to the other ones on the album. But as I said, I had to put it just that spot above Second Sucks, purely because I feel like the lyrics deliver a little bit better, and sound-wise, it just pulls off a little bit better. But still not at the heavy hitters for this album, but I had to put it above Second Sucks. But Out of Time, as I said, a little bit more of a forgettable one for the album, but still at least above average song, or maybe average song, but it has to come in at my number 9. Coming in at number 8, once again one of the heavier songs on the album, being You Be Tails, I'll Be Sonic. This song is, as I said, again, one of the heavier ones on this album, but where the song really comes in strong for me is the chorus and its hooks. I said in my random album review that is the album's crown achievement, how well the choruses and hooks are written. But in particular, I really like the lyric, I'm tired, so let me be broken. I feel like that really connects with me in some way. I connect with it out of context with the song, you know, with what the song is about. I don't connect it on that level, but that's what's good about music, you know, it's anyone can interpret it anyway and take it on board with how they feel, and I really, really do like that lyric. But, you know, I can't put a song at, you know, number 1 just purely from one line, but that is definitely a highlight for the song for me. And that being said, I'm not saying that I don't like the screaming verses. I do really enjoy them too, but this song has to fall somewhere, and for my number 8 is You Be Tails and I'll Be Sonic. My number 7 is the opening track for the album, being Sticks and Bricks. This one is actually a very similar setup and structured song to my last one, being You Be Tails, I'll Be Sonic. As I said, structure-wise, it is very similar, but where this one has the edge Again, is the choruses. I just feel like the choruses are very melodic, and I love the way that the choruses are sung. That's where it has an edge, and also I feel like the screams in the verses and the bridges and whatever are also have that slight edge and have a little bit of stronger components to them. Not by much though, but I have to give the edge to Sticks and Bricks, and that's why it comes in at my number 7. Definitely a really cool way to open the album. Opens the album with a bang, definitely. But as I said, where the home run for this album is its melodic and really addictive chorus. That's where it really hits a home run for me. So that's why it is my number 7. This is probably a surprise for a lot of people seeing this song at my number 6. Definitely, in my opinion, the most popular song from the album being All I Want. And don't get me wrong, this song is a heavy hitter and has so much energy and is really, really likable. And I was surprised that I didn't end up having it probably in my top 3. Normally before I do my list, I just sort of do a mind map of where I think songs are going to fall. And I thought this one was going to be right at the top. But I think just sort of maybe where it hurts it is the fact that I am so familiar with this song and I've heard it so many times. This could possibly be the first A Day to Remember song I had ever heard. So I'm definitely familiar with this one, and maybe just over time I've just heard it that many times. It's sort of stuck in this limbo for me. But having it at my number 6, I don't want that to take anything away from the song, because as I said, definitely a heavy hitter, still has tons of energy. It's track number 2, so, for the album as a whole, definitely opens up again with a bang, and I can see why this one's so popular, but as I said, I just think over time, maybe it's just rested in a middle area for me, but still recommend this one, coming in at my number 6, All I Want. Breaking the halfway mark for my tracklist ranking now is the closing track, If I Leave. This was a really big surprise for me. It is a song that I really enjoy, but it really shot up this ranking. It just kept going higher and higher. This is probably the truest pop punk song on this album. For me, this song reminds me of bands like Bearings and Early As It Is and Early Grayscale. It has that sort of feel to it. Definitely super vibey and leaves me with just this good energy inside myself, and definitely a really cool way to close the album. As I said, definitely the truest and most leaning pop punk song on this album in my opinion. So a really cool way to close off the album. And as I said, I just really respect this song for climbing up the list as high as it did. I probably originally had it in my bottom 3, but just over my time listening and preparing for this list, it just kept going higher and higher, and as I said, took out one that I thought was going to be in my top 3, being All I Want. Shot past that one, so definitely would recommend the closing song on this album being If I Leave. As I said, the truest pop punk song on this album in my opinion, and let's get into my top 4. You're not the person that I knew back then. Let's try and act like this didn't happen. Follow your friends like you ever had them. It's Complicated comes in at my number 4, and this was a silent sleeper for me, as in I knew that I really liked this song, and if I had to pick going into this that it would fall in my higher half of my tracklist ranking, I would have agreed with you, because I definitely feel like it fits there. But as I said, I just feel like it was a silent sleeper. It just kept getting higher and staying in, a relatively high spot on this list. And the reason why I feel like it, just kept finding itself there, this album has tons of energy. Once again, one of the truer pop punk songs on this album, but really catchy verses, mix that with a really catchy chorus, and overall you just have a really good song. And you don't really find yourself getting tired of this one. I always found myself coming back to it. So my number 4 is It's Complicated. Definitely one that I feel like is overlooked also, but let's get into my top 3 of this album. Now coming to what I feel like is the most underrated song in this album, being This Is the House That Doubt Built. This song, as I said, I just feel like is completely underrated. This song to me feels like an epic, and I've always said that epics I feel like should be the closing track of this album. So it kind of feels weird that it is technically track number 4. It just feels so grand and so just, as I said, epic and powerful that it should be the one to close the album. But all that aside, really cool opening. This is probably my favorite opening out of all the songs here. Just this strumming guitar, sort of played off acoustically, and really just melodic choruses with lots of attitude and also like lots of heart. This is just one that was pretty much a lock-in for my top 3. I didn't want to see it drop any lower, and I just feel like this song really does need a lot more appreciation. Really flies under the radar, but I'm happy to have it in my top 3 and at the position it is. So coming in at my number 3 is This Is the House That Doubt Built. All Signs Point to Lauderdale comes in second place at my number 2 on this tracklist ranking. I mean, this is up there again with All I Want, with being one of the more popular songs / well-known songs on this album, and definitely deserves it because this song is an absolute banger. Lyrically, it's a typical pop-punk hometown song, I can't wait to leave this place, my hometown sucks. But fuck, I mean, it pulls it off, you can say how typical and how generic the song is, but fuck, A Day to Remember really do it justice, it's super fucking catchy, it's pretty much unskippable and, super enjoyable. I always found myself listening to this one from start to finish the whole way through, and to be completely honest, this is one of the hardest final 2s that I've ever had to do in my tracklist ranking series so far. This song was so close to being number 1, and as I said, opinions change over time, so give it a week maybe, and this one could have been my number 1, but number 2 I'm fine with. As I said, one of the more popular songs on the album, so I feel like a lot of people would know this one. I don't feel like it's underrated, and as I said, just for a song that is just so, as I say, generic or, typical lyrically, and every pop punk band has done a song about hating their hometown, but fuck, they smash it out of the park, so I can't really take points away from them for that. But my number 2, all signs point to Lauderdale, and let's get into my number 1. So as I said, this one just hung on for position number 1, but my first place is Better Off This Way. I just feel like it has all of its elements working together to make this well-oiled machine. Really strong verses, really catchy choruses, the hooks and all that. Well, for the whole album, the hooks are written amazingly, so at the end of the day, this song is just through and through really fucking strong. And, it doesn't have anything in there that really gives it its own character. There's no defining lyrics for the song, or there's nothing in there where I go, well, that was experimental and they really pulled it off. I just feel like this song just through and through is really true and just a really, as I said, well-written song. When you have a song that is, as I said, catchy verses to choruses to bridges to, closing, you're going to have a good song. So coming in at my number 1 is Better Off This Way. As I said, it was super close between this one and All Signs Point to Lauderdale. As I said, interchangeable at any time, and opinions change over time, so this one might not be number 1 further down the track, but for today's video, it is my number 1. So that is my tracklist ranking for A Day to Remember and their album What Separates Me From You. And just like that, guys, through the 10 songs that make up the track list for this album. Once again, if you want to know my thoughts on this album as a whole and know what I rate the album out of 10 and just, the small nitty-gritty things that I think make this album really strong, make sure to check out my random album review. That should be up at the same time. And I just want to thank you guys for joining me again. I'll hopefully have some more content out for you guys soon, and hope you guys really enjoyed this tracklist ranking. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Maybe let me know what your favourite song on the album is, or just any thoughts in general, and I will see you guys again soon. Peace.